Big thank you to these Patreon supporters for helping keep the lights on at ESO University's website and helping us support our partner Discord community. We really do need a lot of help, so if you guys would like, check out the Patreon link down in the description below. Thank you so much for your support, as always. See you next time. Hey guys, it's time to Nephis and chill, and in this video today we're going to be talking about something not a lot of people talk about or know about, including mid-tier raiders in the Elder Scrolls Online. Many of you have reached out to me confused as to how the top endgame PvE groups can pull higher DPS at certain points, particularly in the beginning, than your groups in 12-man content, or rather veteran trials, and now the answer is not macros. While there are a plethora of factors, including group organization, experience, and of course, numbers, perhaps one of the biggest ones we can look at are what endgame players refer to as pre-buff sets. Before we get to specific examples of pre-buff sets, we can define pre-buff sets as item sets that grant their bonuses to players for a portion or the entirety of the next fight before combat starts, usually as a boss spawns in. Obviously, pre-buff sets as of 2020 automatically exclude both PlayStation and Xbox ESO players, as console players unfortunately do not have access to add-ons, and thus lack of access to things like dressing room and alpha gear, where you can assign presets of both skill bar setups and item setups, allowing you to quickly swap gear and skill setups out of combat between each fight. Now, probably the biggest question on your mind is, well, do I have to do pre-buff sets? Unless you're in one of the sweatiest and remarkably scarce score-pushing groups on PC North America or Europe, the answer is no. A debate over whether pre-buff sets are good or bad for the state of the game should probably revolve around the fact that it adds an optional layer of competitive play to maybe just the 3 or 4 groups of 12 people per. Otherwise, all groups will still get their achievements, still get their goals and such without pre-buff sets. Perhaps the biggest sticking points of pre-buff sets is that they are extremely risky, and I'll talk about this later, and also isn't available to 2 out of the 3 platforms you can play ESO on, although that's an entirely different matter altogether, as add-ons like dressing room and alpha gear should be, at least in my opinion, mandatory base game quality of life for itemization and combat play, much like how Awesome Guild Store, multi-crafting, and as of the Markarth DLC patch, inventory management became part of the base game after being add-ons over the years for both PC and console players. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about pre-buff sets as I talk about it, as I'm curious as to what you think about them. Moving on, the following item sets are the best examples of pre-buff sets: Moon Dancer, Yorvold's Guidance, Elfbane, Arcasis' Genius, Master Architect, Baylorg, and so forth. What would happen with these item sets if you and 11 other people were getting sweaty as of the Stonethorn DLC patch is that you have a pre-setup of Moon Dancer and Yorvold's Guidance ready to go. Someone puts out a synergy, most commonly an orb, so multiple people can synergize off of it. You synergize the orb to get the Shadow or Lunar Blessing, preferably the Shadow Blessing from the Moon Dancer, while you pop Channeled Acceleration that provides a boosted duration of Minor Force from Yorvold's Guidance. Then, you would gear swap to Elfbane / Arcasis' Genius or whatever, put out your damage over time effects and Destruction Staff ultimate on where the boss fight will be at, which has its duration extended by Elfbane, and then pop a potion to proc the Arcasis' Genius. Of course, the ultimate gain is multiplied by the other 7 to 11 people as it has no limit, so you can get another huge damage ultimate back as the fight starts. One great thing so far some of you will realize is that the traits of these pre-buff sets for the most part do not matter at all, as you are simply using these to gain their 5-piece bonus effects and not utilizing them for the actual fight itself. Now, if you kept up well at this point in the video, you'll note that the Destruction Staff ultimate has a 2-second delay before it starts damaging the boss or bosses. So this is what I was alluding to earlier by pre-buff sets being extremely risky. You and at least 7 other DPS in the group need to be on point in conjunction with the raid lead or countdown timer calling for when you should use your ultimate. You do it too early, you lose damage, or pull the boss too early. You do it too late, well, now you're screwed because there's only one more step before you think you're done.
I'm in shade form.
6, 5, 4, 3. Oh my
Oh my god, who dropped it 4, bro?
Are you?
Why are you just going after that?
Like, what are you doing?
The last step, you need to gear swap a third time to your actual boss fight setup. So pulling too early can have absolutely disastrous consequences because this means people may end up with the wrong gear, no gear, the wrong weapons, or a two-handed moon dancer battle axe or something on a magic nightblade. Something really messed up. Pre-buff sets require very well practiced group discipline, otherwise it's just not worth it. And sometimes the add-ons themselves may not work well depending on what's going on. Maybe your ping's messed up, I don't know. But wait, what about Master Architect? Some of you may have noticed on some public ESO logs that some boss fights somehow had 100% Major Slayer uptime on the entire group. A support or a healer can also use a pre-buff setup of Master Architect and Yorvolds to blow their ultimates so long as they have 500 or near 500 ultimates stored up. Remember that Master Architect and War Machine's Major Slayer duration is based off of how much ultimate is stored when you use your ultimate and not the actual cost of your ultimate. Again, same thing applies for the support players doing this Master Architect and Yorvold setup, as a lack of group discipline and also poorly organized group positions will eliminate or offset the potential benefits of doing this. You may have also noticed at this point that some of the sets I've mentioned, like Elfbane, is very magic DPS centric, so you may ask yourself, well, what about stamina DPS? Do stamina DPS have pre-buff sets? Yes, they do, but unfortunately, while stamina DPS can definitely do pre-buff sets like Moondancer Yorvolds, or something like that, to the equivalent of that, they don't exactly have an Elfbane equivalent, although Arcasis is Genius and perhaps 7th Legion could also be a potential combination. Moreover, this kind of goes into why some endgame progression groups have decided to stick with Magicka DPS for the time being as of this video, as pre-buff sets definitely can edge out more DPS or time for the group. Anyway, hopefully you guys learned something about pre-buff sets, and again, let me know what you guys think about them down in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and have fun.